All right. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I just wanted to give a quick introduction here. My name is Anthony Eisman. I work for CSI Enterprises, and I am the product manager for a new mobile application that we have just launched. It's called our Global V Card, and it's it's our contribution, our small contribution to this big mobile space. But I have here David Disque. He's our president, CSI Enterprises, vice president of CSI Enterprises, and he's just going to give a quick overview of the company, and then we're going to go into a demo of the application. So, David?
Thank you, Anthony.
You got it.
Isn't that great? I get a promotion at the same time. That's pretty good. I like that. Well, again, my name is Dave Disque. I'm Director of Operations at CSI Mastercard. Just to give you a little background, CSI for 23 years has been issuing business-to-business corporate card solutions across the nation, from fleet fuel to corporate purchasing to single-use and ghost card type applications. The application you're going to see today we think is pretty cutting edge. It's pretty exciting. It's designed specifically for business-to-business use, and it utilizes our virtual credit card technology, bringing that to a mobile phone to offer electronic payments in the field through a mobile device. So with that, Anthony, let's go ahead and jumped ahead here. I guess I just covered this slide, but again, we offer purchasing cards, fleet fuel cards, virtual cards, and now an application that was just launched September 1st. What I want to do is talk a little bit before we get into this on what a virtual credit card is, because that really ties into the payment mechanism behind the application. A virtual credit card essentially is a credit card number without the plastic. It's issued on the fly in real time, and it can be single-use or multi-use. So essentially, I can create a Mastercard credit card account number. I can put specific purchasing parameters around that. It works one time for a specific amount, maybe at an airline or a specific type of vendor or merchant. Once that vendor runs that card or that transaction, that credit card number is no longer an active credit card number. So I think you can see the security and some of the unique aspects tied to a single-use card versus the type of card that we carry around in our pocket and provide over the phone or the internet as a payment type. So what we'd like to do is start with a short little intro video, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the application and the benefits to business-to-business users. Thank you, Anthony. When you look at this particular space, as you're probably well aware and you probably heard today, there's an awful lot of transaction volume that's currently running through mobile devices. It's a pretty exciting time. I think the number I had recently heard was about 240 billion in transactions occurring on mobile devices, and that number to double or triple in the next 3 to 5 years. We see the same thing happening with these virtual credit cards as well. That was a relatively new concept. And in 3 to 5 years, you're probably going to see about $50 billion worth of transactions running through virtual credit card type transactions. So it was our goal to create an application that had security, convenience, ease of functionality that would bring the single-use card number to the mobile device for businesses on the go, whether it be a business owner, employees in the field that had the need to generate single-use card numbers. From a convenience factor, it offers a lot of flexibility. It's easy to use. It's easy to cut and paste numbers off the phone into other applications. You can even send a card to somebody else through an email, a text, or some unique functionality. And the other piece assigned to it is there's a lot of flexibility in how these cards are designed. You can do a card that works up to a fixed dollar amount, or you can literally lock a card down with some very unique functionality. So with that said, Anthony, let's go ahead to the next slide. And what I'd like to do is just take a couple minutes and demo the app for you. Today we've launched it. It's available on the Android devices. It's going to be available on the iPhone, I believe, October, and BlackBerry in October as well. So when you go ahead and log into your application, it requires that a PIN number is entered in order to gain entry to the application. And then it gives you a very simple menu. The menu offers what's called a quick card, the new V card, existing cards, in my account. What a quick card is the ability to establish predetermined purchasing parameters in advance. So let's say if I want to pull a quick card, I know that this card every time is going to be for, let's say, a value of $100. It's going to work up to 2 times and have an expiration date of 30 days. So I can just create a card on the fly very easily. The new V card is where I have, jumping ahead there, Anthony. Okay, new V card would be an example of where I wanted to create a card for a specific intended purpose, where I want to go in and set some parameters. Existing cards allows me to pull up existing cards that I've already issued on my account, and I can also block a card if I wanted to edit or block a card. And then the account, my account is simply your user and account settings. You preset some settings in advance so you can not have to go in and reset each time you pull a card. So Anthony, let's go ahead and show how a quick card would work. So if this was my phone and I was needing to make a purchase over the phone, the internet, I could just literally hit on quick card, and within a few seconds it's going to generate a live MasterCard account number. It's going to offer me a CVC code and the expiration date. The unique thing here is I can now provide this over the phone or the internet, or I could copy this number, I could paste it into another application, I could email it, text it, and there's quite a bit of functionality in regards to how you send that, whether you send it as an image or you send it literally as a number with the detail. Yeah, that's a great question. It wasn't designed initially to be going into retail outlets and use it, but I can tell you for about 6 months we were beta testing this internally, and I would say about 90% of the retail outlets that I took it to would accept it. It is a plastic not present type transaction. Yeah, so that's one of the factors you got to think about, but we had a lot of success. The only places that didn't accept it were Best Buy. Some of the hotels struggle with it a little bit because they want the signature to prove that you were there. But outside of that, we've had a lot of success with using it. Even at restaurants, I'll literally write the card number, the expiration, the CVC on the ticket, and let them take it back and run it, and it works fine. And I sure like that a lot more than letting them take my card in the back and bring it back to me. So there's a lot of great flexibility in that regard. But if I have a vendor that struggles with it, we'll just give them the plastic. But on the other hand, it certainly is an environment where people are starting to change their mindset as to how they accept credit card and mobile payments. So I would think that the philosophy of a lot of organizations in time is going to permit a wider acceptance in that type of use. The other thing that's going to be coming down the road is we are building in PayPass functionality and looking at near-field communications type technology for phones that are enabled with those chips. And so in those situations, that would be a great fit. So let's go ahead and look at if I had to create a card. A scenario. Let's say I was going to create a card. As a matter of fact, Anthony, didn't we get a card from somebody in here?
We did. Yeah.
Tell me who we've got here. James Dunn. Where's James Dunn? In the room? Okay. Do we have another card up there?
Erica has the rest of the cards, but
okay.
We can create one for James and send it to him.
Well, what's your first? Give me your card. You have a smartphone with you? You got a tablet there. All right. So, Roger, we're going to go ahead and create a card, and we're going to push this to you at this point. So let's create a card for $25. So if you needed to create a card for a specific intended purpose, or maybe you wanted to reward an employee, you create a card for 25 bucks. Let's say you don't have to use it for the exact amount. For options, go ahead and hit. We have the ability to restrict where the card can work or allow it to work anywhere. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. We're going to let it work everywhere. Advanced options. We do have the ability on the advanced options to, instead of it automatically pulling it in my name, identify an individual. So in this case, we're going to put it in Roger's name. You can set the expiration period. You can also associate it with an invoice number, a PO number, or write a memo. And some enhanced functionalities, we're going to add functionality. You can actually take a picture of a receipt, and that receipt will follow the transaction through the system as well. So with that being said, we've just created a card. When you hit next, it's going to go ahead and generate that card. And now we have a card in Roger's name tied to my account. And so let's go ahead and push that to Roger. Is his email on there? And there's some options on how you send it. I can literally send it as an image, or I can send it as a card number, giving you the CVC and the expiration, which may be more functional if you're going to cut and paste that. But for a wow factor, let's send them the image. And so, Roger, in a few minutes, if you just give a shout, that should populate on your phone, and then you can show that you got that.
What you just saw there is what happened. You got it? Okay. What happened there, I touched the screen. If you touch the screen on a card that you had just created, it'll lock it so that if you were to give your phone to somebody else, they won't be able to actually get into the app and create any more cards. So I touched that screen, and now it's asking me for my PIN again to actually get back in there for the menu functionality. So that just happened, which was good, so you were able to see that.
And again, every time you exit the app, you have to hit a PIN. Yep. Perfect. Good. And then obviously if you create a card, if you were to give that to somebody and they were trying to change or do something in the app, it's going to lock it and require a PIN be put in before you access it again.
You can't. You can.
Let's go ahead and get in there. Let's go ahead and look at existing cards. You can pull up a list of the existing cards.
We've actually made some enhancements to this screen since this emulator has been made, where you can see actual names of the card recipients.
Yeah, and what's happening there is it would just display Roger's name down here, but Anthony can go ahead and click on the card we just created, and if he wanted to, he could block that card. Now, I'm not going to do that. I want you to go use it and have a little fun with it. Well,
at least give us some feedback and let us know how it works.
But and what we're going to do is we're going to push out cards to a couple more people today. So if you get a card, use it, and certainly, Anthony, if you would shoot them a note, maybe they could provide a little feedback on what the experience was. We'd like to get that feedback as well.
Another piece of this, too, is if I were to go in and block that card within, I would say maybe 1 to 2 minutes, if you were to go back in there, this will say 0. I think the last thing, David, is my account.
Yep. Why don't you go ahead and walk through that?
Well, my account just gives you the settings that David had already went over with you as far as quick vCard and vCard. The only other piece really is your account settings, which are the CSI-specific credentials that you would have to put in to make the correlation between the cards you made and your CSI account. Okay? A couple questions that we get often is if I have a Mastercard, my own Mastercard, could I use your application and attach it to that either credit line or my bank account? And the answer is no. We actually...
Well, in order to have the application, you have to have an account with us. We issue CSI Business Mastercard, so it has to be a CSI Business Mastercard account in order to allow this functionality. Now, we are evaluating licensing the application out to other issuers as well. So you may be seeing this application in other environments outside of the business applications that CSI offers today.
This is strictly a credit card, it's not a debit card environment.
No, it's a credit card environment. Yep. So it acts as a credit card and behaves as a credit card. Absolutely. So.
And you can have a credit line, or you can pre-fund it.
Yeah, we do have lots of options. You can, from our perspective, it is a credit card, but to set up an account, you can pre-fund the account. You can monitor your account balance. If it runs out, the card stops working until you put more funds in there. You can do a deposit. You can do letters of credit. You can open up credit lines. I mean, you name it, the gamut's there. The other nice thing with the application is it has a lot of flexibility on how the application behaves with employees. So it's not just for the business owner. It really could be for anybody in the business that's out in the field that has the need to generate cards to make secure purchases, whether it be over the phone, the internet. The other nice thing is